While we're waiting for the last few people to get seated, we'll get started. Good morning. I'm Nelson, and you're not, of course. And I think, Anthony, this is the fourth in the series of requiems now you've done? Yes. This young series has turned out to be one of the most magnificent services this church does every year, and I'm excited to enjoy another one, and I hope you all are too. I'd like to start by welcoming the visitors that we have here. If you're comfortable standing up and introducing yourself, say hello and we'll say hello back. Please, anybody, stand up, please. Welcome. You've come a long way. I didn't know the fame has reached you. It's worth it. Yes, sir. Welcome. Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name's Dan Ball. I'm from Hood River, Oregon. I'm here with my wife, Lori Golsey. We're visiting family here in town. And in fact, I brought some family with me, my father and sister and a great family friend.
Welcome. Yes, I'm all the way from Fairway.
I feel very privileged to be able to hear this choir.
That's amazing, too. Anthony, I suspect that the salary scale is too high if you're pulling them in from Oregon now.
It's fun. It's not often or ever that in my career that I've gotten an email from some visitors saying, hey, we're going to be visiting from Oregon next Sunday, and we just sang the Flowery Requiem with our choir last week, and we'd love to join you. And I was like, okay. I said, well, why don't you come to rehearsal on Saturday and you get to know members of the choir? We just had a great time meeting with Dan and Lori. So nice to have them here. We also have today Mihalis Kutsopidis, who's been with us before and is marvelous keyboardist and violinist. So we're happy to have him today.
I told you this is going to be good. Next year, we're bringing him in from both coasts. Are there any more visitors out there? We'd love to hear from you. No, there aren't. Requiems, it's a Latin word that refers to a service of commemoration, of memorialization, and a music form that is designed just for that. The Requiem music form is a great, magnificent thing, and it's structured to allow you to feel those things that happen to all of us, losing, and we think mainly of the death of someone, the death of a spouse, the death of a parent, and that's what this service is for, is to remember that, the death of a child. I was talking with a friend this morning getting coffee, and his hand was trembling a little. And I said, yeah, mine too. I know what you mean. And we sort of celebrated the death of our youth. and you listening to my crackly old man voice are suffering. Again, the same thing. And there are other things other losses that you can celebrate, that you can commemorate, that you can internalize and do something with. The thing that I like about the Requiem is that so many great artists have taken to produce it. It's a form that gives a lot of license to build and to be great, and you'll see how this piece of music just takes you and carries you away. Because in the end, what we're remembering is not just death. Death is a great thing, and it's a strong thing, and it's a hard thing. But greater than death is life. And we all have life, and we're all celebrating it and enjoying it. And those swelling chords at the end always take me there. They take me to the one last gift of the gods that was in Pandora's box, and that was hope. And I hope that you will enjoy today's performance. But right now, despite what it says on your programs, we are going to light the chalice, and we are going to have Ruby Sholo take care of that for us.
Good morning. My name is Ruby Sholo. I light this chalice for the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all.
Thank you, Ruby. And if you stand as you're able, and join us in the singing of the hymn, Rise Up, O Flame, which I will not lead. And please remain standing and join me in the recitation of our covenant. Goodwill is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to hate true love, and to help one another.
Hello, my name is Keely Schneider, and I'm a member of your Board of Trustees, as well as a longtime member of the choir. Thank you very much for being here to support our choir's annual Requiem performance. I think most of you would agree that you probably will not find any other church choir in this town so chock full of professional talent. And I think I speak for all of the amateur musicians in our choir that it is an amazing opportunity and honor to be able to sing with and learn from those incredibly talented musicians. And this morning, I would like to thank our section leaders, Sarah Labar for soprano, Daria Legrand for alto. We have Seth Golay for our bass section. And last but not least, our tenor section lead, Tom Lancaster. And no, I'm not forgetting our incredible music director, Anthony Edwards. Yeah. But that's just the choir. Of course, you know we also bring in other guest musicians to complement and enhance our services week after week. We hope that you enjoy the various styles of music that we perform throughout the year. Classical pieces like today's Requiem, the uplifting gospel feel of some of our choir anthems, tunes from popular folk music, Broadway, and movie themes, as well as sacred hymns. The 2 Music Sunday events each year are very special to us as musicians. The music we choose is often more complicated and challenging, but through the process of learning it, we grow as musicians. We learn better how to communicate through music. As a spiritual community, we cherish song as a common language, a language of all peoples. In song, we often can sing what cannot be said and hear what cannot be spoken aloud. You see, when that note is perfect, yes, we intellectually know it, but even more, we feel it. And in that perfect space, everything else in our world just falls away. And for that moment, we can touch a part of what is sacred. As you know, the special offering today will go toward our music and religious education programs here at All Souls. The board's challenge to us both was to raise $10,000 over the course of the year. We ask that you give generously today to support these 2 programs. Your support does relieve pressure from the other areas of the budget and in turn really supports the entire body of our congregation. Please help us keep singing. Today, during our offering, I wanted to let you know we will be showing names of some of the members of our church who have passed over the last year here on the screen. And then after the offering plate has passed your row, you are welcome to come forward to the front and light a candle of your own in memory of a loved one in your life. And please, for safety's sake, if you don't mind starting from the back of the candles and move toward the front, that would be appreciated. Thank you all. And now may the offering be generously given and gratefully received.
I have always loved the poetry of Edna St. Vincent Millay, especially her words around autumn and death. Now that I'm in the 3rd year of my own Griffith Buck rose bushes, I understand even more deeply this poem. Now the autumn shudders in the rose's root. Far and wide the ladders lean among the fruit. Now the autumn clambers up the trellised frame, and the rose remembers the dust from which it came. Brighter than the blossom on the rose's bough sits the wizened orange bitter berry now. Beauty never slumbers, all is in her name, and the rose remembers the dust from which it came. The continuing presence of the dead can be haunting, as we like to affright ourselves with Hollywood's fear-based images. But true haunting arises when the inevitable unfinishedness of all intimate relationships throws us back once again into the cycle of grieving and guilt for those who have died. There is a reason why grieving and grievance have the same root. Inevitably, we have a grievance against those who have died, if only for withdrawing their presence and leaving us abandoned. And often enough, too, we uneasily suspect that they may have unresolved issues with us, for all our failures of love become in some way final when a loved one dies. Almost every culture and religious tradition has some image that expresses this fear, the notion of a hungry ghost or a malignant spirit that cannot rest in death because of its anger and pain over what it is still owed by the living. Only if we and our loved ones are both wise and fortunate do we have the option of encountering death with all amends made and all thanks expressed. A lovely opportunity when it happens, but rare. When instead our own fear of mortality combines with the guilt of what so often remains undone and unsaid in every close relationship, it produces monsters in the imagination. Then, rather than welcoming the felt presence of those who have died, we receive them helplessly as nightmares. But it is not necessary to believe in vampires or zombies or even angels in heaven either, to understand that our loved ones do not, in fact, depart from us when they die. We can choose whether to embrace that reality with fear or with gladness. Healthy cultures and spiritually mature people encourage us to celebrate the continuing presence of the dead among us, so that they become a source of wisdom, of comfort, and guidance and strength. When we invite our lost loved ones to be present once again, we affirm the continuity of our relationships. We acknowledge that we have our being in a community larger than just the living, and we respond with gratitude to the power of memory, which makes it possible for the dead to return to us. At the same time, we defy the power of grief to control us forever. Rituals help us to find structure in the physical and emotional and spiritual chaos of bereavement. They give form to the process of healing and make a path to follow through the wilderness that is the valley of the shadow of death. When we are willing to walk through the valley of the shadow of death with open eyes, with some courage and conviction that a greater wholeness is possible, the felt presence of those we have lost is transformed from a torment into a comfort. Traditional wisdom suggests that in fact the living paradise of this world is not complete until it unfolds our ongoing connection to the larger community of those whose work and hopes have been bequeathed to us. On this autumn day in the dying of the year, We of the Enlightenment heritage call to mind the entirely natural presence of our own beloved dead, those whose living has shaped us, whose absence transforms us, for in memory they are with us still. Without their unseen presence, the paradise of this world lacks dimension, and we are cut off from the roots that hold us close, so that wings can set us free. All who have walked through the valley of the shadow of death, or who are walking there even now, know its power to take apart our familiar lives and change us into people different from who we were. But have courage. In all our fears, in all our sorrows and regrets, we have the company both of living friends and of so great a cloud of witnesses of those who have gone before. The valley of the shadow of death is a path that all humanity knows. If followed courageously, it leads from the anguish of loss to the triumph of love's imperishable memory, where those who are absent become present once again. And so we are not alone in our joys, in our blessings, in our abundance, in our love, but part of the enduring human covenant of memory and promise. But don't take my word for it. Let the music show you.
So
Dios et preces tibi, Domine, Laudis offendimus, tu suscipe pro animibus iis,
Liberame Domine de morte aeterna in die la tremenda in die illa quando cieli movendi sunt, quando cieli movendi sunt, et terra dum venebis judicare seculum perignem. Quando cieli nuovi sono, quando cieli nuovi sono, tu vedi di cose Verrome Domine, demo morte eterna, liberame.
May everlasting light shine upon those we have loved and lost. Together with all souls in eternity, may the mercy of immortal love grant them eternal rest and in the shrine of memory, may light shine upon them forevermore.
Let's sing together. This is Let's Remember. It's the poem that Kendall read earlier.
That was the best I've ever sung. Pretty cool. Yeah. You did a great job. Thank you, you guys. Awesome singing with y'all. That was awesome. That was good. You know, over the ones that we've done, all the circle of this stuff, that was weirdness. Because the music is so boring. It's like hard to get into. We did good.
Just don't forget and take it home. Just don't forget and take it home.
I know, I'm like, this is prayer.